What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PlayStation Drive episode 122. My name is Matt, and I'll be your driver for today's events. I'm joined for the first time in a couple weeks, reuniting once again by the Supreme Court of Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. What's up, Court?
Dude, it feels like forever. Like, honestly, dude, as I put in the question announcement, it's been a while. Yeah, I know. No one needed to hear me do that. Like that, I apologize for that in the first place.
Not upset about it.
I will try not to do that again. If you're listening, you're not missing out. Yes, that is remote right now, so we're doing our best.
Yeah, folks, for everybody who's watching on YouTube right now, my apologies. My background obviously isn't what it's supposed to be. For anybody who's listening on YouTube right now, my audio might not sound as great. For whatever reason, it's been a whole technical issue today. I am at my family home. We had some stuff going on over the past few weeks that needed me to be here. So that's why my setup is a little jankier than normal. So thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate all of you very, very much. Excited to be back. Excited to talk all things Assassin's Creed Mirage, talk Cyberpunk, talk Jim Ryan, and a whole lot more because we have a whole bunch of stuff that we did not get to talk about yet. And Court and I are going to today. So strap in. But before we do all that, make sure we have to clean this garage. It's been a couple weeks. There's rodents. There's things. There's somebody left honey out for some reason. We just have like a whole hive going on now. I don't know what Court did while I was gone, but this is what the state that I came back to. But if you're watching us live on youtube.com/Carpool Gaming right now, make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live and when videos go live so you can be plugged in at all times. If you're listening to us on your podcast service of choice, hit us with that review. Hit us with that 5 stars. It helps us grow. And if you do, Court, I think there's a little something going on leading up to a little game or something coming out. If you could just hit me with some.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. It's honestly, it's been so long that I forget how to do these things. But we are doing a giveaway on Carpool Gaming between us and the Nintendo Drive because it's Spider-Wonder. Or am I going to get that right? I'm never going to get that right. Spider-Man 2 and Mario are coming out on the exact same day. So we wanted to celebrate that here over at Carpool Gaming. So if you go onto our Discord or you go onto our Twitter, there's a link to show you that we have these limited edition t-shirts that we're going to be selling, that if you buy one, you get a couple entries. Oh, it's already in the chat. You get a couple entries towards getting a free copy from us for Spider-Man 2. Or if you want to leave a review for either the Nintendo Drive or the PlayStation Drive, hit up Sean or Seth in our Discord, or even come into the PlayStation Drive Discord and put up that you've done that, and then we get you an entry into the giveaway for either Mario Wonders or Spider-Man 2 on PS5.
There you go.
3 entries for the t-shirt. Thank you, Sean.
There you go. Multiple ways to win. The reviews, the t-shirts, and the t-shirts are fantastic. There's so much cool stuff going on. And of course, if you want Super Mario Bros. Wonder, or you want the greatness that will be Spider-Man 2, hop in, to do the thing. Join the giveaway. You never know. You might win. Just like we did with Final Fantasy 16, and big old Kev Dog walked away with it. So shout out to him for that last round. And of course, this time, we'll see what happens, so make sure you join. And of course, if you have extra bucks to toss our way, head to patreon.com/Carpool Gaming, where you toss in bucks into the good old tip jar, and out comes a cornucopia of content for you to consume. Now, without further ado, my dude, it's been a bit busy. We've had, the deluge of games that are out and about it's hitting hard and it's hitting fast. We're definitely in the fall phase. One of your most anticipated games of the year has hit. We've both been playing it. And as we get into the playlist, let's kind of pull up our first little news story here because we're going to talk about it. These are things that need to be transcribed, things that need to be talked about. Assassin's Creed Mirage got its share of reviews. It's sitting right now on Metacritic at a generally favorable 77, a user score of 7.1. So reviewing well. Court, of course, has his impressions video up on the channel. But Court, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have now finished Assassin's Creed Mirage, have you not?
I have. I am 2 trophies away. I know friend of the show, Steve Igvari, got all the achievements for it. He posted that on Twitter today. I'm 2 trophies away, but I think my issue is I've started another game, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go back to do one. Has the 2 trophies I have left is fight for 10 minutes and then stay at full notoriety. Stay at full notoriety for a little bit. Wow, this is a little scary that Sean just jumped in here. But
and just as an assassin sneaking into the conversation, we're joined by the sneak master, the Burger King sneak master himself, Sean Capri. What's up, Sean?
Don't let me disrupt. I'm just here to listen. I'm playing a game that I think, Matt, you'll be very happy with. I want to talk to people about, but it's Thanksgiving for us Canadians, so I've got the day off, and I just wanted to say hi and freak you out a little bit. I am recording locals too, so in case you do that over here.
We're already doing that, but yes.
Oh, there you go. Keep going.
Right, yeah, no, I got to turn off the YouTube.
You handsome son of a gun. Holy crap.
Look at this trifecta. Look at it.
Look at us.
And all had it up too. Look at that.
So I have finished Assassin's Creed Mirage. It is one of my 3 highly anticipated games are all coming out. I got Assassin's Creed Mirage that I just finished. I got NHL 24, which I'm currently playing and nonstop playing all day. And then we got Spider-Man coming out. But yes, Assassin's Creed Mirage, I ended up really enjoying the story when in my impressions, I was having issues with the story. I felt that the story got a lot better as the game went on. I kind of really like the ending. I'm not going to give away anything. I'm just being very vague about this, but I really did like the ending. So I'm really hoping they do more. The zeitgeist on the internet was all about, first, they were all mad that, all the Assassin's Creed games like Valhalla and such were bloated. Valhalla was big, but I could still say that the story was phenomenal. It was just, there was a lot to do in it. And now this comes out, and already we're hearing from the same people that said Assassin's Creed Valhalla was too big, that Mirage now is too short. It's like you're damned if you do, and if you're damned if you don't for Ubisoft on this one. I think they tried a lot to go back to the old ways. So the one thing that I loved about Assassin's Creed was the stealth. This is chock full of stealth. That is what it's all about. You'll see videos all over the internet of people just doing skulking around, and then they're pulling everybody into the haystacks, they're jumping from the tops. They've made it all about stealth. They have the parry system. So if the enemy is red and they're coming at you, you can't parry that. So you've got to dodge out of the way. And if the enemy is yellow, that's when you're able to parry and you're able to do the kill move. There's no numbers above anybody's head. So you just have different enemy types. So you're either going to be a brute, you're going to be the little guy. So for me, the combat system was great. I didn't have any issues with that. My only issues were a little bit with the traversal. For some reason, it was almost like they brought it all back to the original Assassin's Creeds. And you were running up walls for no reason. You were falling off ledges for no reason. You're jumping off things for no reason. That was all back. And then near the end of the game, they did bring back follow missions. Those things that we all love about Assassin's Creed so much, of following a character and not being seen. They did that like 3 times in a row. So that was extremely annoying. So for me, the game isn't great. It's good.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Assassin's Creed of all time. It is not probably even up there in my top 5, but I love the fact that they went back and they gave me a story that I didn't think I wanted, and I ended up enjoying. So for everybody over at Ubisoft, I appreciate you trying to do something different, considering that the last 3 games have been these huge open world RPGs, and they were like, hey, we're going to go back to the basics. I think they might find it maybe if they do another one. This was their first try at giving us something different. And my hope with someone myself, who's a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, that we get a small bite-sized one, and then we get our juggernaut the next year. So if they have, different Ubisoft studios, you have Toronto, you have Montreal, you have all these different ones, maybe have them working on different ones. One can do us that little small one that we're going to get every other year. And then we get that giant one. A lot like what Insomniac's doing with Spider-Man right now. We got Spider-Man, we got Miles Morales, and then we got Spider-Man 2. Hopefully we get something in between Spider-Man 3. So I'm really hoping that's where Ubisoft goes with this. And I hope they don't get pushed off by not so high reviews, because Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origin, those got some very good reviews. This isn't reviewing as well, but I do think it has a lot to do with, way it is in video games right now. It's either going to be a perfect 10 or people want to pan it. So it is what it is.
I actually am with you. There's a lot about this one that I honestly think that this is probably my favorite Assassin's Creed since that 2 era of like the Brotherhood and stuff. I didn't realize how much I missed this style of Assassin's Creed until I was back in it. The story, I'm barely paying attention. The story is threadbare for me so far. It's there, it exists. It kind of, it just functions as a vessel for you to go out and do the killing. I have heard it ramps up a lot in the back third, that like the story really kind of comes to its own then. But I've done like 2 or 3 of like the major assassinations. I think I've heard that there's 5. So I'm like, I think I'm past like
more than that, but continue.
But like the major one.
Yes.
So like I've been playing, I think I'd probably say I'm anywhere from like probably around the 10-hour part. And I'm really enjoying it. It's just, I just turn off my brain and like I'm going full bar. Like anybody I come across, I'm just killing them and just running around, just mass murder all left, right, and center as I'm running around the streets of Baghdad. It feels great to play. And I think this is like this stealth, the sneaking around, the tossing bodies over ledges, like skulking around, doing shady stuff. It feels really good to play. The game looks beautiful as well. I will say that there is like next to no enemy variety. It's like from what I've seen so far, it's the same 2 or 3 enemies over and over again.
It's like the 3 enemies. That's what there are.
But like what I'm enjoying about it is I don't have to. I just turn off my brain and play the game. Like, and that's what I wanted out of this. I wanted something that is a shorter experience. I'm hearing a lot of people say that 15 to 20 hours to get the story is pretty decent. That's exactly kind of where I wanted it to be. It feels great. I'm still having, the parkour is back for better or for worse. I enjoy it for what it is, but at the same time, there's been plenty of weird grabs, characters just vaulting off. There was a mission that I was doing a couple hours ago. It was in the middle of a base. I was running and I was doing, like, I saw exactly what I wanted to jump off. Did the character jump that way? Nope. Jump straight into the middle of the thing. Enemy alerts everywhere, and I'm being seen by everyone. I was like, well, here we go. So, but again, despite all of that, I can't stop playing it. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a perfect I think it hit for me at the perfect time leading up to what will be Spider-Man 2, where it's a shorter game. I'm enjoying it. Just run around, kill some stuff. And for anybody who was missing that Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood era, like I found myself very much was, Mirage is a great return to form, in my opinion. Does it hit the same heights that a lot of the other games do? No, but this is probably my favorite Assassin's Creed in quite a while.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if we didn't mention how well they did the world building with Baghdad. I think it's the best I've seen them do since Unity. Unity still, to this day, has its quirks, and everybody jumped all over Unity for good reason, because it did have a lot of bad things happen right off the bat. You had people's eyeballs with no faces and so on and so forth. But they did a beautiful job in creating Paris and making you feel like you're there. And Baghdad has such a great ambiance when you're going in the different areas of the city, and they've done such a great job with even the steeples and how beautiful they look with the blue coloring all the way around them. And then when you go into the bazaar, you really do feel the depth of all the characters and all the NPCs around you. And I have, like I said before, I've never noticed any same conversations from these NPCs. You have these like different little worlds going on inside the game itself, except for there are some references to it's just a flesh wound. So that's the Search for Holy Grail Monty Python. And then they also have Mandalorian quotes in there as "This is the way." I don't know if a lot of people are talking about it, but I hear it all the time as I'm walking through the city. And it always makes me laugh because when I hear the Monty Python thing, I just can't let it go.
Yeah, I think the only couple things that are really standing out to me for so far of like almost a regression of things I didn't want to see come back from that era is I'm going to walk behind you. You're going to give me a lot of exposition while we're walking. Your walking speed will be slower than my walking speed. When you start running, your running speed will be slower than my running speed. And it's just literally just like these 2-minute long walks across, stretches of land. And I'm just like, oh my God, here we go again. And then I saw the escort missions pop back up and like the contracts that you could take. I was like, not touching those with a 10-foot pole. Am I ever going back to any of these escort missions unless they make me do it? So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
They're going to make you do it.
I don't doubt that they will, but again, right now I don't want it. But I've been playing a lot of that. I'm still continuing on Trails into Reverie. I think I'm like 75% of the way through. But Sean, you came in here all hot and ready to go, talking about a game that you've been playing. Can you hit us with the skinny?
I was really just thinking I was gonna come in for like 45 seconds, but I kind of like hanging out with you guys. I was really excited to tell you, Matt. I'm very indecisive most days about what I'm gonna play next. Of course, I'm playing Forza Motorsport. The review's up on the channel, and that's all good. But I just fired up Forza. I just fired up on the PC, ported by Nexus, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh,
Thank
And I'm
God,
swinging
finally.
around. I've been playing for a couple, like maybe 3 hours this morning, and I just wanted to tell you boys that because
That
nobody
game's
knows
amazing.
this just yet. But
Okay.
it's been
You on that old
feels
shit?
good.
I feel like Sean should stream that. I feel like Sean should stream that on the channel. If he's
Yeah,
playing
maybe I will.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, that's an experience. That to me, I know I'm probably going to take some flack of it. I still say that I liked it more than Spider-Man 1. I
don't
just
think that's-
loved how they made you feel like it was almost like it was a Christmas video game. We don't get many of those. So it's that cuddly, oh look, it's Christmas and it's a
It's
video
Die
game.
Hard.
Yeah. Well, that's the division.
Miles Morales is Die Hard. Yeah.
Die
Yeah.
Hard's not a Christmas movie, but anyway.
So what do you think so far, Sean? After like it's 3
Oh,
hours in, you're
man.
probably about a decent of the way through the game.
I think I'm done. Yeah, no, dude, I got through like 2 of the training challenges things. They're like, here's how you steal the enemy's weapon from and you swing it back. I'm like, okay, great. How do I get that ultimate challenge? How do I get like maximum? I can't just go back to the store here and waltz along. I got to get all my points. I got to get all my mods and everything.
Yeah.
So this game is like, the reason I started it up was because it was going to be short. And then I just made it really long because I'm just going to try to max out all these things. So, but it's happening at the right time for me because I don't know if I'm going to be able to play Spider-Man 2 day one. I'm going to be all over Mario Wonder. So I feel like I've got to make a bit of a choice. And this has been on the backlog basically since it came out. And it's been so far so good. I will say though, one of the reasons I'm here is because I was swinging around, everything was good, and then it's time to go see Miles's mom, and she's like, "Where you been? You got to get these groceries and everything." Finally, I go back to the apartment, and I got stuck. And
really?
I picked up like some ticket to a show that him and Peter went to, and he stopped moving. So I exited. I was gonna go back in, saw you guys were live, and thought I would tell you about it. So that's really where I'm at.
Thought I would tell you about it.
You literally just picked up a ticket to the PlayStation Drive. That's why.
I really did.
Spider-Man led you to us.
I really did. Yeah. So I was just excited because I know we share a love for this game. Like I think anybody who listens to this show, I'm sure. So there you go. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Real fun. I might go back to it actually. Might just drop this on you and let you back to the show and peace out and listen on the side.
Listen, you might be one of the few that make Miles Morales a 40-hour game when you can literally finish it.
I think I will. I think I will, dude. Yeah, super fun.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to hear your updated thoughts. Keep us posted on that. Court, is there anything else you've been playing? I know you've jumped into the Modern Warfare beta. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So there's a couple things I've been playing. So we can go through it. I've played the Modern Warfare beta. I have been playing NHL 24.
Okay.
I've already put almost 18 hours into that game, and I've been playing it since.
It's NHL. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I've played a lot of that game. That's my new obsession. I also have been dabbling in Cyberpunk 2.0.
So hold on, before we move off NHL, can I ask a quick question?
I'm not moving off any of them. I'm just going through the whole thing. I'm going to talk about each individual game.
But, well, do you face any of the same issues that you do with your arm playing NHL?
No.
Or is it just,
So
no? Okay.
in MLB The Show, I am pressing one button.
Right.
So for the audio listeners, I'm holding up a controller right now. You're just pressing the X button over and over again. So you're spamming a button and you're doing it based on timing. So then you're getting your muscles a little tense. In NHL, I'm using the analog sticks on the DualSense up at the front here, and I'm also using the triggers. And I'm also using the buttons because they now have a thing called Total Control in NHL 24, where the circle button is the check. So it's the shoulder check. You can still use the check with the stick, but your shoulder check is here, and then your hip check is the square button, which is vicious. And I think it's a cheese. I'm using it because I'm playing the computer, but man, I can hip check way too many people in this game. But they've also made it so that you can do the Michigan. I could do the Michigan by pressing the triangle button, whereas Michigan is when you have the puck in behind the net, and you do a Trevor Zegras, and you come out in front, and you bring it up in the air, and you just lift the puck off, and you put it in top shelf. I've been able to pull it off a couple times, but I'm having way too much fun. I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review on the channel for NHL 24. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm really liking the game. I'm really liking the changes they've made. I have my issues with the game as well. Like I said, there's a lot of cheesy things that are going on. And some of the challenges that I'm doing in a mode that I use is called Hut are not working. And they're driving me absolutely insane. We also do for Carpool, we have a team in ECHL. Everybody can join that is actually playing the game. I know this is not, we don't talk about sports here at Carpool, but
see, you said it yourself.
No, I'm saying it because you're here. I literally already did a video.
Guys, there's no need for arguing. Everybody knows that when it comes to sports, I am the Carpool resident.
That's true.
I know them all. I can list off a few of them. Most of them have balls or sticks, Sports.
But the game is crossplay. So for Xbox and PlayStation people, we can play each other or play with each other, but only in ESHL or in Hut. You can't do it in just versus. So if we just wanted to have a versus game, no, that doesn't work yet. I don't know why. It's obviously because EA doesn't have their own server launchers where you're putting in an EA ID like a lot of these other companies do. But for now, you cannot just play each other in versus. So I'm having a lot of fun in that. I hopped into Modern Warfare 3 beta today. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but my heart was racing and I was having way too much fun.
Seriously?
Matches. Yeah. I haven't played Call of Duty multiplayer in, I would probably say 5-6 years. I haven't hopped in a really long time. And I was using my DualSense Edge. And I'm going to have to say, I love the fact that you can move the triggers. So you have the hair trigger. So it's a lot quicker. I was by my third match, I was doing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
really?
wow, I'm not as bad. But I was getting destroyed out there. There was matches where I go in and these people in Call of Duty multiplayer, I don't know. I recorded one. I'm going to put it up later. I'm behind a wall and it's a brick wall. And somehow this guy would still be able to shoot me through the wall. So I'm a little confused. They did say when you sign in, first thing they do when you sign in is try and get you to buy the battle pass. You have to skip through a screen 3 separate times to not buy a battle pass. Activision, I guess, really wants your money there.
Crossplay a thing? Are you on crossplay?
Yeah, you can play with everybody.
But are you getting wall hacked? That's what.
See, that's what I've recorded it, and I'm going to put it up on the internet and let the internet decide. I got hit, and then you can actually even see in the replay, I am not on this person's screen, and they were able to shoot me through a wall. And it's not like it's it's a brick wall. I understand if it's a door and they're still shooting you through, but this person was able to shoot me through a wall. And I know that Call of Duty has huge issues with people cheating in this game, but I still had a lot of fun. My heart was racing. I got 4 kills in a row and I felt like I was the greatest person in the world. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. I know, because you were kind of I know you were half eyeing it. You were interested, but not. So do you think the beta sold you on the game 100%? Has this become a day one for you because of the beta?
I always do love the Call of Duty stories. So this year I've tried a lot of different video games. I've tried all the games that Matt has suggested me to play, and I really didn't have a lot of fun with all of them. But I've been having a ton of fun in NHL. I had a ton of fun playing Assassin's Creed. I had a ton of fun playing Call of Duty today. So I think I am in day one. And It could be that game where I can just go back and forth between Call of Duty and NHL and just have fun again playing video games and stop worrying about what everybody else is playing. And, I've got to play the game of the year. It's hilarious. People are talking about the Game Awards this year. And I'm like, I don't think I played any of those games. And I don't care to play any of them. And I just don't care. None of them. I'm like, oh, I got to run home. I'm having a ton of fun in Cyberpunk 2.0.
Nice.
I never finished Cyberpunk 2077. I had a lot of issues on my PlayStation and I jumped out. 2.0, this game is awesome. The driving is good. The combat is good. I haven't got to the DLC yet. I think I'm about just over 25 hours in, but supposedly on the 30-hour mark, the DLC will kick in.
Okay.
I'm adding these games up. He's got Assassin's Creed cleaned. He's got NHL halfway through the season.
Here's an interesting story on how a lot of this. So I was away in Detroit, and I forgot to put this in the agenda. I was able to play on my PlayStation on my iPad. I was sending Matt screenshots. I was in shock how well it worked on my iPad in my hotel room. So I would
on Detroit internet, no less.
Dude, they don't even have good water, let alone internet. Right?
Oh my God.
Dude, I was literally 20 minutes away from what's it called? Where the bad water is, like
Flint?
literally right around the corner. I was in Mason, Michigan. I was right around the corner from it. I was able to play Cyberpunk and Assassin's Creed and had 0 latency.
That's
I was
great.
actually
That's
in
awesome.
shock. I said to Matt, like, I know the Portal's coming out. I now get why they're bringing this thing out. I don't think it's for me. I still think I can just use an iPad, but it was so easy to be able to play games. Plus, I didn't have my kid or my wife around. So I literally come back and I was just playing video games every night for like 5 hours. It was phenomenal.
Oh,
4
just
days
like the
straight.
good old days, hey, Court?
Old
That's
school.
all I
Yeah,
did.
those are
Yeah,
the
because I was playing
old days.
Cyberpunk for the first couple days. And then, you know, thanks to Ubisoft for providing a code for review, I hopped in. I was able to get the code, turn on my PlayStation remotely, hop into the store, download it on my PlayStation at home, which has the wired internet, and then start playing it right away. It was
That is the future.
weird and amazing.
The
Science.
joys of modern day technology. Look at that. Well, I'm glad, dude. I'm glad because I know a couple months ago you were in a bit of a gaming funk. I'm glad that you're out of it. You have, you know, between Cyberpunk, NHL, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, you've had hit after hit after hit. Spider-Man 2 is imminent. So I'm glad that you're feeling better. I'm glad that you're enjoying the game time. But guys, we have so much more to talk about. There is so much news. We have so many questions. So let's keep this train rolling by hopping into what will be our first news story. As I hold on, I'm on.
Also, I went to Ubisoft.
Yeah, dude, tell us about
I forgot
that.
to mention this. So thanks to our friends over at Ubisoft. Well, it's because it's in the thing. I thought Matt was going to lead to it, and then he started going to a news story. I'm like, well, we got to bring that in there. Thanks to Ubisoft, I was at the Assassin's Creed launch party.
Yes.
With a couple friends of the show, Riley Little, who's been on, Mr. Steve Igvari. They harassed me plentiful while we were there, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I had a great time. Ubisoft showed us, we got to meet the historian that worked on the game for Assassin's Creed Mirage. It was unbelievable. It actually, I kind of wish that I went to this event before I played Mirage, because what he explained on how they develop the game and how they use historical accuracies to develop the story. Yes, they're building the game, but he comes in and he's like, well, this has got to be more like this, especially with the world of Baghdad. So it actually made me respect the game more. So you actually will go through and get codex throughout the game. And I was reading them, but I was like, nah. But he helped build those codex, and he was explaining how we think about history and what in the time Baghdad was around. We always think how dark it was, and the middle and how it was in England, but we never realized how beautiful and bright it was in the Middle East compared to like the UK or other places of the world. So they wanted to shine a light on that, and I think they did a phenomenal job. And then when I got to do a tour of the studio and get to see how video games were made, and that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. We got to see the sound design on what they do over at Ubisoft Montreal and what they use. Like, there was wooden chairs. You walk in the sound room and there's just like a pile of chairs and a pile of metal and such. And they had this audio booth in the back, and they're just making sword noises. They're doing all this crazy stuff. And then we actually got to see how they put faces in a game as well. So we walked into this room, and there's this giant, it's like a globe of just cameras and lights. So it looks like a Borg, and all these cameras and lights and how bright it can be. And they had this like mannequin in the middle, and they were showing how you can just add anybody's face into a video game and how long it will take and how the process works. So it was unbelievable. They when they walked us through at the beginning, their cafeteria is a subway station, and all in my head I was like, wow, how convenient. They're talking about, don't take any pictures and all that. I'm like, yeah, I know. It was like they lost the irony of that one, but I didn't say anything. I just kept walking through, but they
evidently one of your eyes is falling.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I got up in the morning and I rubbed my eye and I scratched my cornea. So I had one of my eyes was bloodshot, and I could barely look at it all day. And like any sort of light was piercing in my eye and burned at all times while I was there.
Okay.
But I pushed through it and had a great time. Thanks to Ubisoft Montreal for inviting me to Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, Assassin's Creed. And I got to go to a launch party, which is I'm still speechless about. There are other things that we did there that I can talk about at a later date.
Whoa.
Nice. Okay.
Post show.
You heard it here first, folks. Court is the new protagonist of Assassin's Creed Red. Get stoked. I'm actually going to bring in a question from the audience, Court, because Drellesh writes in, as everybody can, either on the Discord or on the X post that goes live each and every week, with a question for you that says, question for the show. Hey, Court, missed you, buddy. Could you give us an overview of how Ubisoft is structured? How many units are there, and how are they interconnected? What does the leadership look like? How quote-unquote French are they? I mean, do they have a particular way of doing things that might be more European versus American or Canadian business cultures as you know them? If you were offered to design your dream job at Ubisoft, what would your role or job description look like? I personally would love to get to know their leadership and learn about their personal struggles and coach them through it. Would love to hear your insights.
Well, that is an extremely large question that I'd have to literally Google to answer half of it, but I can answer to what I witnessed personally. Everybody is very bilingual there at Ubisoft Montreal. They are very positive and outgoing there. Like, I can't believe how happy everybody was there. They did talk about a lot of inclusion and how they're working on it. Every section of the office is actually themed based on an area in Montreal. So in that area, so every floor actually has different paint, different theme. It looks different. The cafeteria was huge and open. They had a lot of inclusion, and everybody seemed. We walked by and everybody was like waving hi. Like, I don't know. It seemed very positive. I know we hear all these dark things about the gaming industry and all these things that are going on, and stuff specifically happened like literally the next day over at Ubisoft after we left. But it seemed, the perception I got is everybody really does enjoy their job. We got to go up to a rooftop patio at the very end of the day where they have like this little bar and you get this beautiful view of Mount Royal, which is out in the back, and then all of downtown Montreal. It was amazing. If I had a dream job there, I would want to create my own story in Assassin's Creed. That's what I would want to do. I want to actually be on the ground floor, be in the meetings on where the setting is going to take place. I find it very interesting that they have done, the game is being made in Canada and they've never done a story about Canada. They almost did in Assassin's Creed 3, but then, they spoiled it by saying, no, we're actually in Boston. When you're originally at the beginning, you're like, oh, is that the indigenous people of Canada? No, that's not what they did there. They were definitely off in the United States. I would love to do an Assassin's Creed based actually in Quebec and go through the history. The history of Quebec is phenomenal. And it's actually sad to me that they've never done anything about that.
Well, dude, I'm glad that you had a good trip. I'm glad that, congratulations again. I got to give you your flowers for going to your first industry event for a series that means so much to you. That is incredible. Onwards and upwards, my friend. So congrats. And I'm ready and excited to hear more when you can talk.
Yes. I believe after the 16th. And I know Steve probably can see he could probably look it up and then reply back, but we'll have more to talk about from the Assassin's Creed Mirage event. There
will be more. It is confirmed. Court. Ninja, Assassin's Creed Red. Get ready. Let's hop into some news. October 17th. There you go. Court, Steve, check with the stocks in the chat, hitting us with the
Thank
info.
You, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm out. I'll see you guys in the chat. I'm just going to let you go back to news. I just wanted to tell you about Spidey, and it's cool to hear Court talk about Ubisoft. Love you all.
All right. Love you too, buddy. See you later. Bye. Let's mosey on to our first news story coming from you know what? Let's start with this. Let's kick things off with a little PlayStation Plus goodness coming from the PlayStation blog itself. We're getting our October monthly games for the Essential tier. We're getting the PS5 and PS4 versions of the Callisto Protocol, Farming Simulator 22, and Weird West. All of these have been available now for the last week or so, so they're out. Go grab them if you're interested.
We just haven't done a show, people. We understand this is old news, but we just haven't done a show in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Court, how are we feeling about October's Essential games?
It's finally happened where a game I haven't played or bought or even thought about buying that I was like, at the time I was playing Dead Space and I was like, do I want to jump into this? And then I didn't because of Final Fantasy 16. I can't wait to play Callisto Protocol. Like it'll be on my backlog, but I'm definitely going to jump into it. I'll eventually start playing Spider-Man 2. I'm going to finish Cyberpunk, but I think I'm going to jump into Callisto Protocol and give it a chance.
Yeah, I think for me, Weird West is the one that I was kind of curious about. Callisto Protocol, I'm not a big survival horror / horror person. I played Dead Space because Court wanted me to, and I did enjoy it, but Callisto, it always looked half interesting. It might be one of those things that when I play it, if I have some time, I already know that I promised the community I'd play BioShock, so that would take precedence. Like Callisto is like way down there, but maybe one day. But I think
it's value. It's a value game. Like
it's value.
People always complain about the games coming to either service, Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. And I don't know, man. Like this is a pretty decent game coming to the service. Like we now know how much this stuff costs. Well done.
It seems like, again, it's a solid month. I think it's a good month. I think Callisto hitting for the month of October. Obviously, it's spooky season. It's the time for it. So yeah, cool. It's good month. Good month, Court. Good month. Let's keep this train rolling by staying on the good old PlayStation blog, because we got information that Sony Pictures Core, formerly Bravia Core, launches on PS5 and PS4, consoles exclusive benefits.
Bravia.
What did I say?
Bravia.
Exclusive benefits, including early access to select Sony Pictures films. This is coming from Evan Stern, the Senior Director of Global Marketing. So you can download this on PlayStation. There's now a Bravia Core app, which gives you a whole bunch of Sony films. I believe if you're on the premium tier, premium or deluxe member,
there's a bunch of there's a bunch of movies for free.
Movies, up to 100 movies, depending on where you're at. Some of the ones that are currently on the service are Looper, Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy 15, Elysium, Resident Evil Damnation. So yeah, we're getting some movie stuff, Corp. But what do we think about this?
And it actually, here in Canada, we get better stuff. So I posted a picture on Twitter when this first launched, because like the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, those movies were all, I'm saying games, those movies were all there. And then all these people from the US were like, that's not there. And I'm like, actually, I guess in Canada, for some reason, we get some really good movies like Step Brothers. Like, honestly, people, Step Brothers is amazing. Now, I know this is probably not what people wanted, which is movies, but I'm okay with this as being part. And I also heard that like Crunchyroll is coming. They kind of like put that Crunchyroll is even coming to the service as well. So
was that confirmed?
It's a rumor. It's a rumor. It's not a leak or anything. It's just a rumor. But I'm very curious on what the new look. They just started asking us for more money for PlayStation Plus, and we're trying to see the new value. We got a game like Callisto Protocol, which is, I wouldn't say it's a AAA game, but it's definitely a AA game. We're supposedly getting a bunch of new games coming up in the following month to the service, and they're giving us movies. I don't think this is bad value. People always complain, but I think there's a lot of synergies between the movie world and the video game world.
Drellesh, if you have a link for that, toss it in the chat. I'll pull it up. I must have missed that in the mix of everything last.
Yeah, I thought for sure, Matt, you of all people.
Yeah, dude, Crunchyroll would have me hyped. I'm already paying for it. I already use that service. This core app doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest. I don't think this is enough value for what people want it if they continue to build this out. Like for me, that we have enough streaming services right now. I don't need to be worried about another one. Like I'm to be honest, like I'm not going to be like, oh, it's not on Netflix, it's not on Disney Plus. Let me hop over to Core and see if it's
unless they have original programming. I 100% agree with you.
Exactly. So for me, Crunchyroll being added at the premium tier would be fantastic, because that would genuinely help save me money. There's a massive library there. It sounds like Drellesh was saying that he only has about 15 to 20 movies on Core from in his neck of the world. Yeah, because like I feel like it's going to vary a lot region to region. I think just tossing movies on a service that probably costs them nothing to license, because I'm assuming that a lot of these movies were made by Sony Pictures anyway, probably isn't a big thing for them.
Some of the movies that showed up are even already on Disney Plus, so I was a little confused there.
Yeah, so like this isn't. I don't think this is anything that anybody was really asking for. This kind of seems to me like they're just trying to add in value to a tier that they don't really know what they're doing with. Again, Crunchyroll would have me hyped. I think so far though, for what this is, like I'm not even going to download the app to check it out. I don't really feel any need to. I think it's fine. I think it's like
I did just to see what it was, and then realized it was like, hey, there's a ton of movies in there. And this weird eye thing that shows up that I'm not a big fan of. But like there's so included in PlayStation Plus currently for Canada, Spider-Man Homecoming, Amazing Spider-Man, Venom, The Equalizer, 2012, The End, Baby Driver, Ghostbusters After the Call, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Total Recall, Ghost Rider, the other Ghost Rider, Jumanji. Talladega Nights, Pineapple Express, all the Men in Black movies, all the Spider-Man movies, Starship Troopers, The Social Network, Superbad, Bad Boys, Charlie's Angels, Big Daddy, Mr. Deeds, Boys in the Hood, The Cable Guy, Hotel Transylvania 2, Grown Ups. There's a ton of movies in here for Canada. Like it seems like Canada got the good deal and everybody else got the shaft. Which is, you know what? It's about time.
I'd be curious to see how many of these movies are available elsewhere, because that's, I think, my major question. If they're like you mentioned, if they're making, specific programming, like if Twisted Metal were to hit their day one, the second season or whatever,
and they made it free to PlayStation Plus people, that's value.
That's again. So I think there's potential here. If this is going to be just, here are some movies that are Sony Pictures that, doesn't cost us anything to toss on here. I mean, we'll see. But again, it's fine. Let's keep this train rolling. We'll come back to Crunchyroll if Drellesh finds something for it, because PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan is stepping down. This is coming from BGC, written by Andy Robinson. Ryan, who oversaw the launch of the PlayStation 5, will retire in March 2024. Sony Interactive Entertainment announced today that SIE President and CEO Jim Ryan has made the decision to retire in March 2024 after almost 30 years of the PlayStation business, Sony said in a statement on Wednesday. To support Mr. Ryan in his transition, Sony Group Corporate President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Tatoki will assume the role of Chairman of CIE effective October 23rd. Effective April 1st, 2024, Mr. Tatoki will be appointed interim CEO of SIE while he continues his current role at Sony Group Corporation. So, and then Jim also added, after 30 years, I've made the decision to retire from SIE in March 2024. I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with the great people and incredible partners, and I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. He wants to spend time with his family. Obviously, Jim Ryan.
Cat, man. Don't forget the cat.
Don't forget the cat. Obviously, Jim was instrumental in the launch of the PS5. He pretty much shepherded what was this entire generation. All the best to him. I know he's been a divisive president. I know there's been a lot of decisions that he's made that haven't gone well. There's been some decisions that have, but
and he's
regardless,
only been there since 2017.
Yeah, again, like a relatively short tenure. Like, I'm assuming that this has nothing to do with recent news or recent decisions. Usually decisions like these are made pretty well in advance. I'd imagine that this was probably a conversation that they started having a while ago. I can't imagine like the PlayStation price hike or anything else like that really significantly impacted this much.
And it's still longer than John Codera. So like you have Kaz Hirai was 2007 to 2012. Andrew House was 2012 to 2017. John Codera was 2017 to 2019. And now Jim Ryan, 2019 to 2023.
So a lot of them have been, well, I mean, it'll be 2024 when he's effectively done, but a lot of them have been like 4 to 5 years. So you know what, again, wish him all the best. Like, thank you for the contributions he's given us. I'm curious to see what the future looks like, Corp, but where are you at on all this?
I'm indifferent. I couldn't, they're CEOs. It's about the games that come out. Some of the choices they made, it's almost like PlayStation. It's like every other generation, right? PlayStation 3, they're just firing on all cylinders and we're just all like loving Shuhei Yoshida. We're loving everybody, loving Andrew House. And then all of a sudden we just started, it's almost like they got complacent. And then they started making great games at the end of the PlayStation 4 life cycle. I think some of the choices that we've seen in the PlayStation 5, even like the marketing choices on how they rolled out PlayStation Plus, I'll still to this day not be a fan of how it was rolled out for PlayStation Plus. I still think they could have done a way better job of hyping it up and doing what Game Pass does on the Xbox side, and how they really, really make you care and want to know what's coming to Game Pass. And I think PlayStation Plus is a underrated service. I think there's a lot of great games there. So maybe it's time to bring some more excitement in. We'll see what happens, but they're just figureheads in the long run. Yes, they are making decisions, but there is a board that does help them make said decisions. So to me, it's just about the games. I just want some brand new games, man, and just move on. The behind the scenes stuff never really interests me. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, for me, like I just want them to kind of start acting the way that Xbox has. A lot of what, oh my God, I just blanked on his name. Phil
Spencer.
Thank you, Spencer. Like, he, again, man is ruthless. He does what he does for Xbox, but he has a very presentable and very easygoing, like, he comes across, like, the fandom, a lot of the Xbox, fandom does like him as a figurehead. I don't think Jim Ryan ever had that love from the PlayStation community. And I hope that whoever comes in next, like, Shuhei Yoshida, beloved in the community. A lot of these folks that came before were more, I felt like they cared more about the gaming community and games than Jim Ryan ever really did. So I just hope that we kind of slide, because you're right. PlayStation comes to have these, like, they ride really, really high where they're the number one, they're kicking ass, and then they get slapped backwards, and it's this constant push-pull. So I'm hoping that we're not going to regress again. There's been some steps back in the last couple of years, but hopefully things continue to trend in a good direction. But yeah, wish him all the best regardless. Like, enjoy your retirement. Thank you for what you've done for us so far. And I'm curious to see what the future of PlayStation holds. And I'm going to bring back the Crunchyroll thing because, yes, Drellesh pointed out in the last sentence of that story, this is just the beginning. We plan to evolve the offerings and benefits of Sony Pictures Core over time, including a selection of hit anime from Crunchyroll. That is not what I want to hear. I don't want a selection of titles that there's probably going to be a small handful of stuff that they're going to bring over. I want Crunchyroll integrated completely. I think Sony already owns them. I want the memberships to be rolled in together so I can pay one price to get the premium stuff for Crunchyroll, the premium stuff for PlayStation Plus. That is what I'm looking for. I don't want this piecemeal stuff where they're like, here's the, the episodes 31 to 50 of One Piece, and then that's all you're getting. But again, we'll see what happens as they continue to roll this out. But so far, I am whelmed, Court. I am sufficiently whelmed. All right, Court. We got some more stories to go before we get to the wonderful questions from our community. I'm going to toss it up now. Do we want to talk Cyberpunk? Do we want to talk hacks? Do we want to talk Last of Us? Which one are we going to next?
Last of Us.
Last of Us. Coming from disable. No.
Forbes.
All right, I'm not going to share this. I'm just going to try and pull this up, but essentially, hold on.
So
wait,
there's been layoffs at Naughty Dog, and it also looks like that we're possibly not ever getting the Last of Us factions.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. So coming from Paul Tassi over on Forbes, Naughty Dog is one of the most storied developers in the industry, and demands to produce a live-action service project appear to be damaging the developer, at least according to insiders behind the scenes. A new report from Kotaku says that Naughty Dog is laying off at least 25 contractors, some in art, some in production, most in QA. They will not receive severance, and Kotaku also says that they're being pressured to keep the news quiet until contracts are officially terminated at the end of October. And it seems that the Last of Us multiplayer project is being put on ice. It is being shelved for the time being. This is obviously no actual confirmation. This is coming from the folks over at Kotaku Informs.
Yeah, it's a rumor as of right now.
Yeah, so it seems like layoffs are hitting Naughty Dog. I watched, I think it was SkillUp's kind of weekend review, and he went on to talk about how a lot of the layoffs are coming for QA. So in a situation where, let's say, the multiplayer game isn't where they need it to be, and they don't have these people, they don't need these people for QA anymore because the game is not ready to be properly tested, then that's why these layoffs are happening. I think it's gross if they're being pressured to keep quiet and to not talk about it. I think that's really, really crappy. Given Naughty Dog's past with Crunch and everything else, that I don't think this seems like an unnecessary thing to try and keep it hush hush, quiet. Sucks that we might not getting the Last of Us factions 2, whatever it was supposed to be. It's something that I know you and I were really, really looking forward to. But anybody that was affected by those layoffs, our hearts go out to you. I hope you land on your feet quickly. But where are you at on all this, Court? Because this seems like a messy story.
It seems that layoffs in the video game industry, we've seen them at Epic. They just seem to be happening everywhere right now. And it does happen as all these studios, I guess. This is the way I look at it. They all pivoted to this free-to-play model because Fortnite got so big. And now as they've tried to bring out said games, they're not doing well. They're not hitting like they all thought they would. So now they're trying to pivot away because they're always like, what's the new hotness? So unfortunately, given it's only 25 people, and that's the rumor right now, it's still not that bad. And I think SkillUp's take is probably more accurate. If the game isn't going to be made now, you're just having these people sit around. Hopefully they're going to help these people find another job. And I know that's happened at other studios. So hopefully that does happen. But at this time, I don't think we're getting this video game.
I don't think so either. Like it must have really been in a bad spot for when Bungie came in and they were like, nope, you're not putting this out. I'd really encourage everybody. There's a story over on The Gamer written by Stacey Henley that's titled 2023 has been a horrible year for gaming, that I encourage everybody to go and read, basically talking about how, while we've had a number of incredible games, like genre-defining games that will stay with us for a long, long time, the industry has been in a horrible spot in terms of, like Court's mentioned, a lot of the layoffs, a lot of the unfortunate studio closures, a lot that's been going on. I encourage everybody to go read that article because it makes some fantastic points. But yeah, I hope everybody lands on their feet. It sucks that we may never get The Last of Us. Like I would hope that rather than releasing something that's half-baked, either ice it completely or go back to the drawing board and give it to us 3 or 4 years from now. Even alongside,
or just don't make it games of service, because that's obviously what they were trying to do with it. Just give us The Last of Us multiplayer that we all loved.
Yeah, seriously. Like nobody, I don't think like their ambition, I think maybe took over a little bit because, you know, there's a lot of people that were only asking for just the next iteration of factions, right? And they went open world. They almost seem to seemingly want to go in more of a direction of like a State of Decay. But we'll see, Court. We'll see. We'll obviously keep you posted as a lot of this goes. Our next story. Let's do Cyberpunk because
Spider-Man or
we'll end on Spider-Man. We'll skip the hack story for this week. We'll get to it next week. Mass layoffs of Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red prompt new union formation. This is coming from Leslie and Poole over on IGN. A new Polish game developer union has formed following 3 rounds of layoffs at the Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 studio CD Projekt. Polish Game Dev Workers Union was founded by current CD Projekt staff, gameplay QA analyst Paweł Michka and gameplay programmer Lev Key, aiming to represent all of those working in the game development in Poland. They said that they were starting to talk about unionizing after the 2023 wave of layoffs that saw 9% of CD Projekt Red staff, roughly 100 people, let go. This event created a tremendous amount of stress and insecurity affecting our mental health and leading to the creation of this union in response. Polish Game Dev Workers Union said, having a union means having more security, transparency, better protection, and a stronger voice in times of crisis. Court, what are we thinking about a new Polish union for game devs?
Well, good for them. It seems in the video game industry more than a lot like the movie industry, they need unions. It seems that they don't get treated too awesome out there.
No,
it's very interesting. I'm not saying that I'm pro union because sometimes in some industries I don't get why there's a union there. But and I'm not here to talk that I'm the expert of all this stuff with with employee law and such, employment law. Sorry, but in the video game industry, especially because of crunch, I do think that this has to be needed. Especially. Yeah, because it seems that like they build a game, they build up this studio, and then they fire everybody. And that seems like the normal article that we see all the time. Game developer launches game. 2 weeks later, game developer fires 25 employees. It just seems to be the normal news cycle that we're going through. So if they can get a union at almost all these studios, I don't think we're going to hear that much. But people do have to realize if, say, all studios unionize, the life cycle on a video game and how long it takes to make is going to be a lot longer.
And I think that's a perfectly acceptable trade to make. You know what I mean? For the betterment of all of these folks so that they are not worried about things like job security, so that they are able to spend time with friends and family. But
remember, these people do take, I will also speak to the other side. These people take these jobs knowing what they are. Yeah,
but I don't think that should be the case regardless, right? Yeah. Like, I don't think that should be the case. Like, if you're passionate about something and you care about the product that you're making, you shouldn't have to. And again, if the studio goes on to make billions or millions of dollars off of the work that you put in, you shouldn't be worried about job security.
Okay, right? Fair enough. Like, that I'll agree with, but I do want to err on the side of like, I love video games. I don't work in the industry because that's just not for, like, there's just no way.
No, and again, like I don't know. I'm not intelligent enough to be in game development, I think. But like, you know, my heart goes out to all these people. I think that for all of these things, to make the games that we love, I don't want anybody to be genuinely suffering because of it, to have to sleep at a studio. And I don't think that just because that the way that's been should be the reason that that's the way it should continue on forward. So if that means longer game development cycles, if that means less heavy hitters, like again, look at this year alone, how many incredible games that we've had. Would I rather half of them slip to next year or the year after to give folks who are making these games more time? That's fine with me. That's totally fine with me. But again, kudos to the Polish Developers Union. Like that's awesome. I hope things continue to go in a good direction. Court. Let's talk about one more thing quickly here, and we're going to watch it together because Spider-Man got a new trailer, and my God, this thing is awesome. I watched this as soon as it came out. Let's pull it up here. We're going to do a little watch along. It's short. It's only about a minute. There's no gameplay or story or anything that this is going to spoil. It's very much more of like a vibes trailer.
I think it does finally put to rest all these like conspiracy theories on who Venom was.
Yes, 100%.
We still don't know who Venom is, but we do know who he isn't.
Dude, like look, he's monstrous. He looks huge.
I would love to be playing this game right now. I would love to. As Stephen Riley would like to point out on a regular basis, I am not playing this game. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a question later on pointing out that I am not playing this game right now.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a few minutes. But yeah, this like just seeing them throw down here. I love these kind of CGI trailers. just to raise hype. Like everything here that we're seeing is awesome. The switchbacks between the Spider-Mans, the pulling up against Venom. Like we haven't really seen too much of Venom at all in terms of gameplay or anything else. So just to get this the CGI trailer of them going at it is awesome. Venom looks monstrous. He looks huge. I can't wait for this, Court. We're just a couple weeks away now. Less
than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks, dude. It is imminent. We'll obviously have tons to share and talk about as we get closer. But yeah, that is just hype.
It was a hype trailer. It was a good hype trailer. Like I believe God of War had a very CGI trailer right before release as well. That was just, it's one of those, like, if you put like any Linkin Park song in the background, you're just like running through a wall because of it.
Yeah, dude, those good old AMVs for back in the day of early YouTube of 15 years ago. Without further ado, my dude, let's get into a bunch of questions that we have, because if you want your questions read on the show, please head over to our Discord. It's free to join. It's in the show notes. Come hang out with us, chat with us. Or when the X post goes live, toss it in there like Savoy Prime did, the homie, who says, question for the show. Will Naughty Dog ever stop milking The Last of Us? Is Neil Druckmann showing that without Amy Hennig around to steal ideas from, he's actually a fraud?
Regardless of what he just said, I'm going to ignore that factor. Because that's his opinion. That does not reflect our opinion here at the PlayStation Drive. I like it when they remake games. I'm like the only one where I'm just like, Rocksteady, please just make me Batman games over and over again. I just don't get why we complain so much when we get other games, but that's my opinion. This is just just me. I have zero issue with not making a new IP when something is amazing and we keep getting that. I'm the one that keeps batting at the door, just saying, please, please, please make us another Infamous game or just remake the old ones. So I have zero issue. If the rumors are true that we're getting another Last of Us Part 2, I'm okay with it. I can't wait to play it.
Dude, for me, you can't wait to play it because it's the better game, right? Yeah, I think SP, obviously, with the hot takes coming in here, I don't think that Neil Druckmann is by any stretch of the imagination a fraud. I would like to see them, if we're getting Last of Us Part 3, which I'm sure we are, especially after the success of the TV show, I want that to be the last Ellie adjacent game. If we're going to keep going to take us to new parts of the world, tell us new stories, give us that multiplayer game. If we're getting a new version of The Last of Us Part 2, I'll reserve judgment until we know what it is, whether there is anything added, whether there's anything different. I'll reserve judgment until we see it. And I don't think that, Naughty Dog is by far not the most egregious example of this. There are many worse examples in the game industry, like Skyrim coming out on 75 different platforms and 43 different toasters and fridges. I like The Last of Us. It's massive right now, especially after how huge the show was. Does not surprise me that we might get more of it. And again, if the series is great and they have a new story to tell, give us more. I'm in. I'm like you, Court. I love a good sequel. I love a good continuation. I love these characters. Give me more. I literally just read like almost 1,100 chapters of One Piece. Okay, I'm in full board. Like if I fall in love with the world and characters, I'm in. I'm there. Fulia writes in. Hope you're both well. You too, Fulia. Hope you're doing well down there in Australia. I need to ask a hockey question to Court. That was the end of the question. Moving on. She says, so bear with me, Matt. Court, I'm going to check out the NHL 24 trial through EA Play, and I need to know if the button layout is easy to learn. For someone who hasn't played an NHL game since the 2015 version on PS3, I feel like there may have been some changes and upgrades since then. Help a hockey girl out.
So, yes, if you haven't played an NHL game in a really long time, you now have to use the analog stick to shoot. They are going to be bringing back hybrid controls. It's going to come in the next update, and you can go back to the old way, or I guess people will call it the easier way. I've actually, during the beta, I was using the new total control system that they've added to the game. I honestly think that if you can get the hang of it and just use practice mode, that is the way to go, because it is easier to use than any control system they've ever done. It's almost like they've combined hybrid controls, 94 controls, and skill stick controls into one control system. And I had to hold the controller, because if your pass now is trigger, which it always was, and you're still shoot, and your deke is the other analog, they've now added commands to the buttons. So defensively, your hip check is now square, your stick lift is X still, and you have a circle is now shoulder check. But you can also still use the analog stick to check. So it gives you more options. And then even on offense, you have your Michigan button, You have your between the legs pass / shoot. They've assigned all the buttons, but I think it will take you. My suggestion is you can go into the practice mode and you can literally just fool around with the game for like a good half an hour. You'll get the control scheme down. It took me a while, but in the last couple of games, I'm lighting it up and I'm getting a lot better at the game.
Lighten it up. There you go, Fulia. Court with the opinion. And I want to shout out MoSpankins' comment in the chat as well regarding The Last of Us. They're also trying to reach new users that haven't played the game yet and gives them a new reason to pick up PS5. That's a great point. Well said. Our next question, my friend Court, is coming from Nagachaka. Do you think The Last of Us Factions 2 was dead for good, or will we see a smaller scaled version bundled with the rumored Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version, or maybe even bundled with the inevitable Last of Us Part 3? So we kind of spoke to this, but I think that if we see any more factions, it'll be Last of Us Part 3 before it will be anything else.
Yeah.
And I think I would hope that they at least give us that smaller scaled down version. You know, if they're going kind of semi-open world again with some of the maps, open zone, just silo part of those out, make us something cool. I think whatever they wanted to make factions is probably gone for at least in the iteration that it's in. But Court, am I off base here, or you think?
I don't think you are at all. I think the whole Bungie thing and the rumor, like we can't say it's a fact yet, but the whole rumor that Bungie went in, saw the game, and was like, It says a lot. Maybe, you know what? If they really want a games as a service, get Bungie to make it.
Yeah, there you go.
Bungie's been making Destiny for years.
Seriously.
Hey, what can you do with The Last of Us? Show us.
Dude, let them team up. Like, again, work together on it. But yeah, we'll know more as we get closer to it. But Black Wyver writes in, "Hey guys, hope you're both well. You too, my friend. With the Callisto Protocol dropping on PS Essential this month, what are your thoughts for this game?" So we've gone over that. I'm not too excited. Court's going to play it when he has time to it. At launch, the game had mid reviews. Do you think it's releasing on PS Plus will help the developers for a potential sequel? And correct me if I'm wrong, Court, wasn't that studio also closed or affected by significant layoffs? I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was too.
I'm pretty sure I remember hearing a story. Court will fact check this. But I think this is more like them trying to get whatever money they can left out of it, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at with this.
I'm pretty sure that studio was closing after the Callisto Protocol did not well. Court's double checking that. But Black Wyver's final question is this PlayStation trying to drop a discounted game onto its subscribers? I mean, probably. These deals are usually worked out, I would assume, pretty far in advance, at least a couple months.
The CEO, it's Striking Distance Studio. The CEO has left. Glenn Schofield is leaving the studio.
Okay, so that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know. Court,
because of the launch to Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
I'm okay. Like, I don't know what. I think maybe it's the whole Game Pass day and date thing that we continue to have this. We need to have the best games released to the service. I think it shows you that we don't have to go out and buy a lot of games day and date anymore, because some of these games do come to the service that we're paying for. So we don't need these huge releases anymore. This was a game that like I said, I passed on it. I just played Dead Space and I'm like, I don't need to go play that same game all over again. So I didn't touch it. And now that it's come to the service, I'm going to get to play it. If you want to go out and buy games on day and date, I totally get it. But at the same time, I think these services, both Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, offer a ton of value, but they offer more value to that person that isn't buying a video game every single time it releases. You're muted, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, it being kind of like a dumping ground for things. I mean, possibly like a discounted. Like if the game was selling super well, it wouldn't be on the service, right? Like that's
100. Well, not necessarily true, because Guardians of the Galaxy didn't sell well either, and that game was amazing. So what do I know?
Yeah, but it is amazing. I want to shout out your favorite weep in the chat, saying hi from Nunavut. What's going on? Great to see you. Thank you for joining us from Nunavut.
How you doing?
That's super sick. Let's roll through our last couple questions, because Steve writes in Asvigvari. Hi, PlayStation Drive. Long time, first time. Glad you're willing to talk about anything. This question comes from the Riley Little and I. What's it like still not playing Spider-Man 2? Steve, coming real close right now. I know where you live. I've dropped you off at your house before. It would not take much effort for us to come find you, to take your PlayStation and play Spider-Man 2. But
I even know how to get into his place. I've been inside the house.
Listen, we know he has a generator that will keep his entire building going for days on end. Okay. We know how to get around security. We know the stronger of the two in your relationship. Don't test us, Steve. Don't test us. But it sucks. And I'm waiting.
It's fine. Honestly, I'm happy that our good friends have got this game.
Yeah.
They were very kind to not talk about it. They did talk about it, but they didn't talk about it. They didn't give away anything. I have zero spoilers. I know spoilers are all over the internet. I have muted the hashtag Spider-Man 2 PS5. I just muted it. It was just easier. The game hasn't been ruined for me, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, kudos to you guys. Like genuinely, I messaged Steve and I was like, if it's a pizza, is it a good pizza? And he's like, I can't tell you, but there's no Hawaiian on this bad boy, which is enough for me. That's enough for me. Shout out to our good friends, and I'm sure go check out Console Creatures. There's going to be footage coverage there at launch. So
hey, Steve's going to join us. We're going to have when we do a review. Steve will join us, so we'll get to know all about Spider-Man.
We'll know everything, and who knows? Maybe we'll be playing it at some point too. Dave Pietrangelo at Dave Petro, also one of our Console Creatures homies, writes in and says, "Hi, it's me, Court. We need to talk. Why did you pick that team in NHL 24? It has me confused and concerned. Please call me back."
So Dave is referring to I've used the Boston Bruins as my BA Pro career. The Boston Bruins will always be my favorite team, but I do have a second favorite team in the NHL because my cousin is the coach of said team in the NHL, which is the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Dave's referencing that his brother plays for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, so he's now chirping me that I am not using the Vegas Knights while I'm doing it. But while I'm doing the review for Carpool, I am doing actually 2 separate seasons in BA Pro. I'm doing a Vegas one and a Boston one. I started the Boston one first. I'm going to fully play the game. Probably have my review drop sometime next week. I want to really dive into everything. Plus, I'm obsessed with Hockey Ultimate Team. But yes, Dave, yeah, I know. The Vegas Golden Knights are better than Boston Bruins. I get it. It's fine.
There you go. That brings us to the end of the show, folks. Thank you for sticking around for this longer episode. Obviously, we had lots to talk about, and Court and I just wanted to hang out with each other and talk PlayStation. It's been a couple of weeks. Apologies again for the varying levels of quality on my end. I promise that'll be fixed next week. Court, I missed you, buddy. It was nice to be back together. It was nice to talk PlayStation with you again. Where can people find more of you?
You can find me on Twitter at Court Lalonde, or you can find me at Carpool Gaming on Twitter as well, or you can find me every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on 3 Dads in the Console on YouTube. And every now and then, you can also find me writing for Console Creatures.
That's right. You can find me over on Twitter at Matt_SilverSoul. And of course, you can find me on Console Creatures getting articles and stuff up alongside here each and every week on the PlayStation Drive. But before we go, we obviously have to thank our wonderful patrons. We're going to welcome back Quagmire to the Ultimate Producer tier and thank Brian Eck and Brian Reese for both upgrading to Gold Member, and welcome Laura to the early ad-free access tier. Thank you all very much. Our incredible Ultimate Producers, Robbie Baumgiller. Go check out his awesome podcast on all things lists. It's in the description below. Tony Baker, who you can find at youtube.com/quest4pixels. Jonathan Brown, his link tree is pae.jib. Makes fantastic music, like maybe the intro to the show. Lee Navarro, who is, of course, the leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Go check him out at phoenixoverdrive.com. Trucker Sloth and Quagmire, our platinum producer, RJ Kern, and, of course, our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Bowsah, Brian Eck, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Hoppel, John 32, Marcus O'Neill, Markus McCracken, MoSpankins, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. We appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Canadian Thanksgiving. Wish you all well. Go eat a bunch of turkey. Have fun. Be well. We'll see you next week. Peace.